I'm Meredith with Extreme Terrain, and welcome to this installment of Customer Builds. Now, this is a series where we showcase different rigs from our customer build pages right here on our site to hopefully give you some ideas or even some inspiration for your ride at home. Now, in this episode, I'm going to be catching up with Johnny from Maryland about his Trail Ready 2010 JK. Now, if you want to see more of Johnny's build, including a full breakdown of his mods list, you can check out his page on the site, or if you're watching right here on YouTube, you can click the link down below. So what do you say we connect with Johnny and check out his build? Hey Johnny, how are you today?
I'm great, How are you?
I am great. I'm excited to talk more about your build. I see that you have a lot going on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited too.
So let's hop into the foundation of the Jeep. I see that it is obviously lifted and you have some larger wheels and tires. Can you tell me more about your lift setup?
I have basically, as for not really a lift per se, but just a leveling kit, the TerraFX leveling kit on it, and 33-inch Mickey Thompson and Pro Comp wheels.
And do you take your Jeep off-road? Is the 1.5-inch spacer lift enough for off-road?
Yeah, for what I do it for, it's enough for me. In order for me to actually go really into high-level off-roading, I have to drive a couple hours from where I live. There's a spot where I go here nearby. It's just fine with what I have, the setup I have.
That's awesome. Now, do you have anything paired with the TerraFlex spacer lift? Any other suspension mods to go along with that?
Just changing shocks I did myself, and also the bump stops, I installed those myself also.
As far as the wheel and tire is concerned, is that an all-terrain or a mud terrain?
The ones I have now are all-terrain.
So do you daily drive your Jeep?
I do daily drive my Jeep.
Awesome. So
it's fortunate and unfortunate, but hopefully that won't be the case in about a year or so.
And at least the all-terrains are going to stay a little bit quieter than a mud terrain would.
Right. That's the reason I got them. I do have to drive it mostly every day, yeah.
So let's hop into some of the armor. You have a decent amount of armor on the front side and even the back of the Jeep. Can you tell me a little bit more about the armor that you have up front?
It's actually a mid-width bumper made by DV8. And it comes with the fog lights. And I also installed a skid plate for the ESD, I believe it's what it's called, because it's a Rubicon. Although I don't have any decals on it or anything, it is a Ruby. At the pillar, I added some accessories there, windshield hinges and stuff like that. On the side, I have Smitty built side cladding, which requires some extensive drilling, but looks really tough all the way around. And then towards the rear, I have the Barricade bumper and tire carrier.
That definitely helps out with the bigger wheel and tire. But what also helps out with the wheels and tires and getting some more room inside of the wheel well is fenders.
Yeah, and I do have upgraded fenders, right? And those are Smitty built XRS, I believe is what the name is. And then obviously they go very well with the cladding. And that's part of the reason I got the cladding eventually, because of the fenders. But I also have within the wheel well covers, I guess is what they're called. I have those in the front and the back. And the rear ones are Barricade wheel well covers.
Yeah, I see that the cladding, like the bolted accent or the billeted accent, goes really well with the wheels.
Actually, that's one of the reasons I got that actual cladding, was because of the accent with the bolts, like consistent with the wheels.
Yeah, and it looks like you even have something underneath the cladding. Is that like a rocker guard or a side step?
Right. It's I think it's Rugged Ridge rocker guard.
Well, let's hop into some of the lighting. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. Those are KC 3-inch cube lights. I have the floodlights on the bumper, and then I have spotlights at the A-pillar. And then at the rear, I installed some floodlights also. Mostly because when I go camping and I'm backing up, I can't really see that well. I have LED rear lights, but still not bright enough. What I found interesting about that was learning the wiring, figure out where to get the wiring through the firewall and all that stuff. So that's a very interesting project.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time to kind of figure it out and how you want to set it up as far as switches are concerned. Do you have like a switch panel or anything that you run them off of?
I do. I have the Daystar switch panel, and I have each set of lights running to one switch currently.
And do you have any upgraded lighting as far as like the factory lighting is concerned?
Yeah, I have upgraded headlights with halo. What's really cool about these lights is that when you hit the signal, it runs in conjunction with the signal light, so it flashes yellow also, the headlight part of it, at least the halo. And then in the back, I added some tail lights, as I noted. I also added a license plate bracket to the rear.
Did you upgrade your soft top, or do you still have the factory one?
I have the best top, Trek top, and I have a spider web netting under the top, so when I take it off, I obviously have some shade.
It seems like we covered a lot of the exterior, and we covered a little bit of the interior with the switch panels. Do you have any other mods on the interior?
I changed the gear shift handle, the emergency brake handle, the 4x4 handle. I one accessory I really like, and I actually ended up ordering the passenger side also, is the under the seat lockbox. It's fantastic. I like them a lot because in the summertime, I really do run my Jeep without doors and a top for most of the summer. And it makes it convenient for me to, be able to store some stuff without having to worry when I get back, it's not going to be there.
Now, do you have anything else as far as interior mods go?
What I ordered recently was a fishbone wheel well storage bins.
Those are really useful, especially with storage, just like you were talking about with the under the seat storage.
I also installed the Best Top Insta-Trunk at one time, which is, provides a little bit of security in the rear also. On the tailgate itself, I have a webbing and then a couple of packs for storage back there also. So, even though the Jeep doesn't come with a lot of storage from the manufacturer, there's ways that you can innovate and make storage for yourself.
It seems like you have done a really good job at that as far as the security and a couple of other ways to store things go. Now, do you have any future mods? Do you have any ideas or inspiration on what you're looking to do next?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I do actually have a couple things I would like to add. Let's start from the inside. On the inside, I ordered the Smittybilt overhead console.
Oh, those are really cool.
And then I ordered it, I believe it's Rugged Ridge cold air intake. And then I also ordered a new muffler for, I'm gonna see how that's gonna go, because I got on there the other day and the bolt for the clamp is totally rusted.
Oh,
so I have to figure out what to do with that.
Welcome to Jeep.
And like I said, I do like doing lighting. So although I do love the lights I have now, and I think they work great, I'm gonna be replacing those lights with some KC 5-inch round lights at the bumper and the A-pillar, and then I ordered a light bar from Barricade, and I'm going to be installing 4 KC 6-inch lights on top.
So you're going more for like the classic look with the individual lights. I really like that. I think that that's different, and not a lot of people do that, and I really admire when somebody does that. It kind of brings back a little bit of nostalgia.
Some kind of look I'm going for, especially like I said, when I take my top down and kind of strip it down, it does have more of a classic look. Yeah, I think, with Jeeps, like I said, it sort of reflects your personality, and that's kind of cool. That's one of the coolest things about Jeeps. Everybody has their own look, and you make it your own.
Well, thank you so much for connecting with me. It was a pleasure speaking about your build, and again, I can't wait to see what you do next.
All right, well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. So that's gonna do it for this installment of Customer Builds. If you wanna see more of Johnny's build, including a full breakdown of his mods list, you can check out his page on the site, or if you're watching right here on YouTube, you can click the link down below. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content, product, and install videos, and always keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.